just haven't moved yet physically. Let me explain. Hello and welcome to Rose STS. This is my personal channel where I talk about my life and share raw moments. I am doing this video to kind of talk about how I've energetically moved to the place I want to live before actually moving there. Because my move isn't for another less than a year, almost a year. And so because of the circumstances of where I live, to keep my sanity, I have transformed myself and my life to be one that would be lived where I'm moving to, Oregon. So let's start with energetically. Energetically, I started acting like her. I started acting like the version of myself that already lives there. Who would I be? How would I walk? What would I do? What would I wear when I move there? Because the climates are very different from the South and the Pacific Northwest. Very different, especially where I'm from specifically, the Southwest. It's very hot here, and the desert. So yeah, so I figured out, okay, what do I want my style to be? Because I wanted to change my style already. When I changed my name, that was a whole other thing that I kind of talked about in another video, but I have been kind of branding myself and building my true version of myself, and figuring out how I wanted to dress was part of that. And like how I want to look when I'm in Portland. Like, what do I wear when I'm walking down the street in the fall? What do I wear in the winter? So I go thrifting, and I have been collecting clothes and pieces of clothing and shoes and jackets and items that I would need when I live there, and getting rid of the items I wouldn't need when I live there, like certain tank tops that are like specifically for like beachy desert, really hot places and climates. So collecting the things I will need is something I'm still doing, but that I've been doing, and I've pretty much gotten rid of everything that I've wanted to get rid of. And then like cleaning out people in my life, getting rid of people that don't need to be in my life. That goes along with something else that's completely different, but people in my life that, like, when I move, who do I actually want to keep in touch with? Or who's actually probably going to keep in touch with me? And who is respecting my boundaries here and now? And let me keep them in mind, and let me remember who they are, so that when I do move, I know who I want to give access to me and my son, especially when it comes to family. So that was important and is important. But yeah, so like energetically becoming and like changing my spirit, or just evolving my spirit into one that thrives and lives and resides in Oregon. Next, I would say like separating myself from any kind of dependence is something I've done, which was like sharing a phone plan with a sibling, or sharing my Apple Music plan with my family, and making payments to, siblings for those things every month, instead of taking care of it myself on my own, being independent, because that's what I want to be. That's what I've, wanted to do. I want my own unit, my own family, and that's what I've created, but also like I want my own things. I want to have my own stuff and be completely self-sufficient. So that's been a work in progress and still is, but I have separated myself from all dependence, and that's been really refreshing and like confidence boosting. And then like switching to paper checks, because that's what helps me save more and helps me save my money easier. And yeah, I'm like relying on myself to be independent with my money, and relying on myself to know where to put it and what to do with it. Next, I would say doing research and building my plan early on. And that's something I've pretty much completely finished and done, because I've researched every neighborhood in Portland. That's where I'm moving. And I've researched like every neighborhood that I would consider living. And then in those neighborhoods, apartment buildings and apartments that I'm interested in, narrowed it down to 2 places, found a realtor company, a company that, sells the apartments, that rents the apartments. I found this one specific company that rents out both places that I love, and I have it all saved and put away in my notes, in my bookmarks, and so that is already done. I know where I want to live. It's one of 2 places, and all I need to do is give them an 8-week notice, and they'll get me in to a place somewhere in one of those 2 places. So that's something that I did and researched for a long time. And then as well as like schools nearby those places and what the route is to get to those schools, because I don't necessarily want to have a car in order to move. Like if I don't, then that's okay, like I'm still moving kind of thing. So I've done all of the research on that, and schools, and how long does it take to walk my son to school, or how long would a bike ride be, how long would a bus ride be. They have their Max Line rail, and so researching where those stops are, researching where the bus stops are, the closest ones, and their modes of transportation, their transportation system there is so incredible compared to where I live. On top of that, the bike system and bike routes, bike trails or whatever, bike lanes, like there are thousands of people there that rely on bikes as their transportation, and I love that about that city. So I plan on getting an electric bike and a whole setup for that, and me and my son to use. But yeah, like how close each apartment is to the school I picked out, which is the other thing. I researched all the preschools in the area, which ones work with the state, which ones don't, and just what feels right. So I narrowed it down, picked the one, and found out the routes to the school by walking or bus from each apartment. And then same thing with shops and boutiques and stores for like a little job for me to just kind of, be able to get to know the community better and make friends while I'm starting out. And then like how much money I'm gonna need to make, how much money I need to have saved up before the move, just to give myself a nice cushion. So, and then like how much things cost there, is something that I've done as well. But planning the move itself and my budgeting plan and planning out what that looks like and how much money I need to save before I move there is something that I've done. So I sat down and figured out how much money do I need to put away monthly? How much money do I need to take out of my checks every month and put away every month to save up enough to give me that cushion before the move? And how many months do I need to stay here and save in order to get to that point? And so then I would say, like, when have I decided to move? And thinking about that, I have two different options of when that'll be, either like October 1st or like the week before October, or spring of 2027 is the plan. So one of those two. I'm leaning towards this year. I just don't know. I'm still praying on it and figuring it out, but that's all stuff that I've done and planned out and researched and written down and saved in my notes and bookmarks and memorized and created specific plans for myself with, so that I can make it as simplified as possible, but as seamless as possible. I want the move to be seamless, and with my given situation here in my hometown, I hate it here. I hate everyone in it, and I don't leave the house very often. When I do, I like to stay in the neighborhood, maybe go for walks with my kiddo, like I don't like going out and about in town. I have a mom friend that I hang out with, like I don't do much here. And that's another thing. I have almost created a portal, or like this in-between state, this in-between place between the hometown and Oregon. And that is my home here. That is my room. This space that I'm in right now is like this portal, this in-between state that I've created energetically that makes me feel like, okay, I'm already the person that lives in Oregon. Like right now, I believe that wholeheartedly. And that's something I've created and done. And so I don't feel the need to leave very often. Like I go to the store and go shopping for things I need, We stay busy here. I get work done. I am not complaining. I never really have, because this has been what I've been pouring my energy into and what I've been planning. And so it not only gives me something to look forward to, but I've already kind of transferred my energy into, I've already kind of became the version of myself that lives there. So I'm happy where I'm at. Knowing that I'm on the way and knowing that it's close and knowing that I'm in that in-between state gives me comfort, because I don't consider myself to be a resident of this town anymore. So, like I said, I already live there. I just haven't moved there yet. Mentally and spiritually and energetically, I already live in Oregon. Like that's where I live energetically. Like I'm not trying to make new friends. I'm not trying to get into a relationship of any kind while I'm here, because I'm not staying. And I'm so committed to that like I don't leave the house. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm happy with my plan. And that explains everything. That explains how I already moved there without, or how I already live there without having moved yet. So I hope that explains everything clearly and gives you an idea. Maybe someone will find this helpful that also hates their hometown but doesn't have the means to move yet. This is a great game plan as to how you can get through that and how you can stay sane through that as you build your way out. And I highly recommend taking all these steps, because it really has worked for me, and I kind of just created this game plan all on my own and did everything as I went. I'm very intuitive and in touch with my higher self and guides, so I feel like that has definitely played a part in knowing what to do and knowing what's right for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.